The lingering negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, climate extremes and the ongoing floods have worsened food insecurity and put over 23.3 million Nigerians at risk of hunger and malnutrition. This spells danger, BKO, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I was looking at some of the statistics, and frankly, I'm worried about the damage that global warming is doing and the damage that floods have done to us as a country this year. Um, Food insecurity is a big problem affecting third world nations. We are particularly, our own case is particularly worsened because of insecurity in some of the food production belts of our country, like the Northwest, like the North Central. People have difficulty accessing their farms. And now, tied to that problem was also the flooding that submerged people's farmland. It means that for a lot of our farmers, for a lot of people who ordinarily will be comfortable enough to fend for themselves, they will have to um, yield to a life of receiving handouts. People don't want to stay in IDP camps and see themselves as relying on other people for their day-to-day existence, for their feeding, for their clothing, and all that. But this is what this problem has caused. Um, in Nasarawa State, for example, Olam, Olam, a big company that has an integrated rice farm, lost 4,500 hectares of rice farm in Doma local government area of Nasarawa State. This is a big, big problem. Remember, on those farmlands, they also had people that they employed. So what would be the fate of such people now? With the company having lost about 4,500 hectares of rice farm. And a lot of states like Kogi, Anambra, Delta, Imo, Bayelsa, and Rivers, they have also faced this problem with people's farmlands washed away by flood. So what do the people eat? Food production has been massively hit by this flood problem this year. It is described as the biggest that we've had in a decade. So how will our people cope with this kind of life? For a good number of them, they have farms. They can't even access the farms because of insecurity, because bandits will sometimes ask them to pay um, a big levy before they can access their farms. That is already a problem. Some of the food production beds are not even accessible at all because of the activities of terrorists and all that who kill people. Some have fled their communities, they fled their farmland. That has created a big problem for our people. You go to some states, people are in IDP camps, not because they don't want to fend for themselves. They would love to return to
Absolutely.
their communities, but because of insecurity, they don't want to return to their communities because they risk being killed. I've visited some IDP camps, and The stories that they were telling me, were really, really blood curdling. No one wants to waste his life by returning to a community that they cannot guarantee that it is safe enough. So, and added to that is this flooding problem. Of course, also the issue of the rising cost of diesel is making even the transportation of produce from the food production beds a lot more expensive and a lot more difficult. So government has to come up with mitigating measures to make the pains that have been inflicted on our people as a result of this flooding, as a result of the high cost of diesel, to mitigate the effect of those pains. Otherwise, our people will be forced to live a life of destitution. And when you are in the IDP camp, you don't know when your next meal will come. You are totally reliant on people, on the government to come and feed you. That's a life of destitution. Our people are vibrant, they are hardworking. This is not the kind of life that they want. So if we will improve on the security of our communities, if we would come up with measures that will mitigate the pains inflicted by our people on our people as a result of this massive flooding that we had this year, if we will also take steps, globally accepted steps or globally acknowledged steps to reduce the effect of global warming, which is causing these irregular rainfall patterns and all that, then our people, the pains inflicted on our people could be reduced drastically. But it's unfortunate a good number of our people in the year 2023 will experience hunger, and I don't think the government was prepared for this at all. They will experience hunger, they will experience malnutrition and insecurity. It's a very easy thing to predict, given that these floods came even close to harvest time and completely washed off farmlands and throwing our people into unexpected hunger, because some
Yeah.
of them were forced to even harvest their produce prematurely.
Prematurely.
One, they will not be able to make money from their produce. They will have um, to eat them quickly, and then they won't be able to store enough for the coming year, because a lot of the hard work
Yeah.
have been washed away and rubbished by flooding.
Right. Fabian Akeze says, hunger has always been a staple in the Nigerian society before climate change. During the military rule, pre-independence, and the so-called glory years, Nigerians have always been hungry.